Let's get into the NFL though, man. This was championship weekend, man. Both of us went 1-1, obviously. um, I picked New England to win the AFC Championship game. You picked Seattle to win the NFC Championship game. Obviously, we both took the other team in the other game.
Yeah.
New England did end up beating the Broncos. We'll start with the AFC 10-7. In a low-scoring affair marked by a second half impacted by weather, snowy and windy conditions, making it nearly impossible to throw the ball at one point. Jarrett Stidham did go 17 for 31, 133 yards, a touchdown, and an interception late in the game. Drake Maye was 10 of 21, 86 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but he did rush 10 times for 65 yards and a touchdown. So let's talk about the New England turnaround. Is the turnaround a result of them being one of the best run organizations? Was it luck or was it a little bit of both? And then were the elements responsible for the outcome? Did it help one team or hurt one team more than it did the other, man? What say the people's champ?
Well, yeah, I definitely think it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
You know, let's just be real about it. I mean, injuries are a part of the game, especially when you're talking football.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe without question, if Bo Nix is there, the Broncos win that game.
That's a reasonable assessment.
But that said, I was really disappointed, truthfully, in the one guy going into this game on the Denver side, going into it that I had the most confidence in, and that was Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I thought he did a disservice to Jared Stidham in that game, particularly in the second half. Because trust and believe, had I known it was going to be Snowmageddon in the second half of the game, and they were going to insist to continue to throw the ball downfield,
right?
And hell no, I wouldn't have picked them to win the game. You know, I mean, I was just really perplexed by that. I found that peculiar because, I mean, Sean Payton has proven, you know, over time to be, you know, an astute football mind.
Yeah.
And to just do that with, you know, your backup, who you would think you would want to tailor a game plan where you would put them in a, you know, in the most advantageous situation is possible throughout the game.
Sure.
Especially when you're dealing with inclement weather. So I was taken aback by that.
Yeah, and also a lot was made of him going for it on 4th and 1 early in the game, on his own 14-yard line, not taking the points right there. And obviously, you know, that those 3 points being the difference in the game. The one thing that I will say that I think he was right about, ultimately, he was proven to be right about, is he said, he basically, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, is he basically said, I thought 14 points would basically be enough.
Yeah.
He said, I thought that would be the death blow, basically. And again, I'm paraphrasing him, but he says something to that effect. And I did agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think he was off at all.
Yeah, he was like, I thought 14 points would basically be insurmountable for New England. Like if we could get the 14 right there. And so I agree with that. I thought that.
So that's how he felt going into the game.
Well, no, he was saying that in that 4th and 1 situation. He was like, I felt like if we could get to 14 there, he was like, that would have been likely insurmountable, you know, and again, I'm paraphrasing. You can go and listen to his post-game presser. I don't have his exact wording, but he basically said, I felt like if we could get to 14 right there, that likely would have been insurmountable.
And he'd have been right.
Yeah, he would have been. I agree. I think that I don't think there was any way that New England was going to score 2 touchdowns.
That game got ugly.
Yeah, it did. It got really nasty. What about the weather conditions, though? Do you think that those impacted the outcome of the game, and do you think it helped one team or hurt one team more than the other?
Well, I believe it definitely it hurt Denver because did they miss 2 field goals?
They definitely missed the one.
I believe it was 2 field. I believe it was one late in the first half and then one in the second half.
Yep, and the one was blocked.
Yes.
I know. Yeah, the one was blocked. It was tipped.
Yes.
But to your point, I think after the game, I'm pretty sure, and Nephew could fact check me on it, but I'm pretty sure he said that they were lined up 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage instead of 8, and that was impacted by the snow because they couldn't see the yard markers. And the reason that they lined up 8 yards instead of 7 is because you need that distance from there to the line of scrimmage so that, blocks are not.
Someone comes and blocks.
Exactly. So yeah, no, that's
like 6 points there. So.
Yeah. With respect to both of those items, prior to the season, I looked it up, and the Patriots were they had
real quick. It was 2 missed field goals.
It was 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
4 altogether.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By both teams.
Yeah, because I know New England missed 1. I wasn't sure if they missed 2. Okay. All right.
Prior to the season, the Patriots were they had 60-1 odds to win the conference, which is unbelievable. So I mean, this is absolutely an all-time turnaround. And I will say again that Bob Kraft is who Jerry Jones thinks he is.
Yeah, for sure, because he definitely cracked open the checkbook.
Yes,
he chopped some heads off.
Yep,
immediately. He, and like you always say, the time is now.
The future is now.
The future is now.
Yeah, absolutely. So aside from Drake Maye, they basically missed on the 2024 draft. But they didn't sit around in denial like the Lions.
Right. Facts.
They essentially started moving right away. They fired Gerard Mayo. They promoted Elliott Wolf to executive VP and executive VP of player personnel shortly after the draft. They spent $350 million in free agency this past offseason. We talked about that. And they hit on their 2025
they did.
Draft picks. Now they headed to the Super Bowl. I say all of that to say if you are decisive and deliberate, you can certainly turn things around quickly. That's the good news for Lions fans, which we are. We can get this turned around very quickly if we handle our business.
Quick question.
Yes.
Since you touched on the Lions, how do you feel about the Kakfa signing? The what is it? The high-ranking offensive role. They didn't really name what exactly.
Now he was the interim in New York, right?
Yes.
Is that him? Okay. I'm interested to see how all of these new offensive voices are going to work together. Again, I don't have an opinion other than to say I would like to wait for everybody to be available.
Right.
Now, again, that doesn't mean that I don't think these guys will be a good fit or that, people aren't doing their due diligence. I just would like to get every voice available in the room. So, I like that they're adding some additional voices.
Right. Okay.
So when I saw that, I was like, okay, let's get some additional voices in the room. Let's see, you do fear that you don't want to have too many voices.
That's I didn't want to say fear, but I was kind of wondering, like, when the role, like I said, this could be happening across many locker rooms in terms of team personnel across the league that maybe I don't know about. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if he kind of like plan B.
Right. I mean, because of the way things worked out this year, right? Are they hedging the the Petsic signing? Yeah, it's hard to say. I couldn't.
Or are they building like a cabal of offensive minds? Are they doing that? Like I said, is that like kind of the new wave? I don't know, but
I'm up for whatever.
Yeah,
as long as it looks better.
Checks a lot of boxes. You know what I mean?
As long as it looks better than it did.
He's bringing some Kansas City drip with him, so that could only help.
But to continue on about New England, New England's defense in the playoffs is number 1 in points allowed with 8.7. They number 1 in rush yards with 71 per game, and they number 3 in total yards allowed with 210. This New England team is the first team in history to go 9-0 on the road. And, of course, our Lions went 8-0 on the road last season. But, of course, we played 9 home games. They went from 4 wins last year to the Super Bowl, and they only have 2 Pro Bowlers. So, again, we can get things turned around quickly. That's the moral to the story, is that if you're decisive and not in denial, they weren't in denial about their 2024 draft, though. I feel like Brad Holmes sat around in denial about the 2024 draft.
Right.
Didn't want to admit that it was a bust.
Right.
And that we missed. And that cost us the playoffs this year.
Right. But to your point, I think to give Kraft more credit, he's done it, so he's seen it, so he knows what it looked like. I agree. You get what I'm saying? I mean, like listen, he could look at last year and be like, "Oh no, this is some bullshit. Everybody's got to go."
Yeah, no.
Like,
he's undoubtedly the best owner.
He doesn't slow dance with mediocrity like we've been forced to do because we just but finally have gotten off the floor over the last 4 years.
That's an excellent point because he's undoubtedly the best owner in professional football. Maybe one of the best owners in professional sports. I mean,
of this century, you would have to say without question.
Certainly one of the best owners in professional sports. Maybe the best owner in professional sports. Let me put that out there.
Okay. I mean,
maybe but certainly one of, certainly one of. But